Chili's baby back ribs. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another phenomenal episode of My Momma Told Me,
the podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of Black conspiracy theories.
And we finally work to prove that Chiwetel Ejiofor is the most famous man on the planet whose name no one knows how to pronounce. That motherfucker is unbelievably famous for everybody to be like, what is his name? I do not know it. I've never known it, and I never will know it because of how hard that motherfucker is.
You're right. Yeah. His face is great.
Name
great
another...
face.
Because even Jaimin, we figured out Jaimin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we all figured out like, okay, Jaimin Hansu.
That's Amistad.
That's Amistad.
Exactly. And Papa Midnight and Constantine. A lot of big roles.
Come on. Yeah. They put blue contacts on him and nobody said nothing. That was beautiful.
Yo. Chiwetel got a Marvel movie and a slave movie. And that's like the two biggest Black man movies. And I don't know how to say the last name.
Yeah, I don't think that I think you have to like commit to demanding people know it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he's a little too chill about however. Like Raven coming out at like 35 and saying my last name is Simone. We don't care. We all know Raven Simone our whole life.
No.
You can't do that now.
You had your chance.
You get the feeling he was on set like, you just call me Chiwe, it's good. And then it's like,
exactly.
And then it's like, no. You got to stand on that.
Yeah.
Shit.
Uzo Aduba was like, listen, I don't give a fuck. You can say Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
So figure it out.
Yeah.
Gotta stand on business.
But she came out and did that from the start.
Yeah.
To the bigger point. She said, this is who the fuck I am, and I may not even be here that long, but you're going to learn to pronounce this motherfucker. Right. And instead, Chiwetel was like, hey, Edgy's fine. Call me Edgy. I don't know. It don't matter.
Just happy to be here.
Yeah. And the hard thing about the Raymond thing is it's gone so far that, like, we don't believe it. You know what I mean? I was like, I believe it, but I don't believe it.
Yeah, it's a little too bougie random.
Yeah. Too little,
Simone,
too late.
I don't buy it.
And she's done too many weirdo things before this where, like, I don't trust your opinion on nothing, lady. There's thing you could tell me where I'd take it as 100% true.
She said she was from every country in Africa except two, and every country in Europe except two or something. She's literally from half the planet.
Here's my question is, what were the two? It was like, sorry, DRC, you ain't making cut.
It's like, I'm not. Listen, one thing I'm not is Kenyan. Everything else, I'm fucking.
I bet she would claim Kenya just because Kenya gets a lot of press for no reason.
They're cool. Yeah, they're cool.
Shut up. No, I don't mean that. I'm sorry.
Where's Amber Rose from again?
Denver?
I mean, not there. I mean, like, where's the black part she claimed?
I don't even know. Did she claim Africa?
I didn't know she did that. Because she went on a little run where she was saying she wasn't black no more. She had a little recent run where she was
Cape Verdean. There you go.
Oh, Cape Verdean.
That's a good one. There's a lot of countries in Africa that nobody's going to follow up on.
Yeah.
There's just like say you're Namibian. Who's gonna say anything?
Who's gonna stop you? Our guest today, you've already heard their voice. It's a phenomenal time. We're excited he's here. You know him from a lot of cool shit. You know him rap shit on HBO Max. It ain't no HBO. I think no more. Shut the fuck up, HBO.
I can't keep up.
It's Max, but it's a show, a great show that he's a part of. He also hosts a podcast called The Read that you can listen to anywhere and everywhere, and that's the whole shebang. And we're so excited he's here. Give it up for Kid Fury, everybody!
Hello.
Yeah.
Here I am, sunny LA.
Sunny LA, we're glad you're here. You came to us, I should say, with a conspiracy theory that we softened up a little bit. And that's not because we're afraid of the conversation. Let me be very clear about that.
Yeah.
We are not afraid of the conversation. And in fact, I encourage you right away to get into what inspired this conversation.
Right.
But we have covered a fair amount of this individual on the podcast. And so we wanted to make sure that we broaden it a little bit to make sure that we're not exclusively a Bow Wow podcast from this point forward. But
Bow Wow's such a liar.
Let's go. Let's go.
Go crazy. I'm excited.
He's like the centerpiece of the conspiracy podcast. That's insane.
He is a vital source for this podcast, I would say.
Yeah, it comes up.
Fuck Mr. 106 in Park. He used to be Mr. My Momma Told Me.
Can I also say he's my least favorite male host of 106 in Park?
Was he ever actually a host?
Yeah.
I think they ran out of options and then they were like, hey, brother, you want to check?
Hey, you want to keep coming back? Because you seem to be hanging out anyway. You just want to...
I'm a AJ guy from way back.
After Tigger, I stopped paying attention.
Tigger was it. I did fuck with AJ. I was
like
devastated
AJ.
to find out that the dreads were not real. That
you
hurt me.
Knew that.
You knew the whole time. You knew the whole time.
I did not.
You're lying if you tell me you knew the whole time, bro.
They were too... there was a lot of dread.
That was a lot of dread, which makes it even crazier because he was sitting down every day to get 30 pounds of dread sewn in.
Why?
That's crazy.
You want to suffer for your art.
For a rabid pack of 13-year-olds from the Bronx who are there to see Petey Pablo. Psycho.
Yeah.
Insane.
For a fucking Freestyle Friday, you had to put new dreads in?
That was a big day.
That's
Don't be
crazy.
like that. Shout out to my man Blind Fury. Freestyle.
Have you ever rewatched any Blind Fury?
Of course I've rewatched YouTube supercuts.
I'll be honest, he's one of the worst rappers that have ever reached that level of success.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what though? He was blind as hell. Can't say
He
that
was
about
blind.
TV. He was blind as shit. You see him
There's
up
a time
there?
we'll never get back.
Yeah. That dude was blind as fuck.
We'll never get an opportunity like that again.
It was such a beautiful time, and we didn't know what we had.
We didn't.
Kid, you came to us with a conspiracy theory that somehow sparked whatever that conversation was. But you said, my mama told me.
Child stars are all victims.
And I should say specifically, you guided this conversation through your a conspiracy theory about Lil Bow Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us everything you know.
The year was probably around approximately 2000 and God, it had to be somewhere between 1 and 4.
It's early. It's early.
Early 2000s.
I think this was before the towers fell.
You know what? It might have been. This is like a while ago. Bow Wow was still low. I don't even know if he was like Mike yet.
No, I don't think so.
That was a few years into the journey, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he was doing great. He was just kind of like at the peak of his like heartthrob pop stardom. And I go to school one day minding my goddamn business. Not really expecting much out of anything besides, like bullying and humidity. It's my
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
And for whatever reason, the talk on the town or in the high school halls was, did you hear what happened to Bow Wow? And the story went that he was unfortunately assaulted sexually in a limousine by his own security guard.
Yes.
And there were graphic additions to this story, some involving like stitching.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Sewing things back together.
A blowout, if you will.
Yeah. As a gay man, I really relate.
I have no comment.
Empathize. Yeah, so I remember just going to school and hearing that, and there was a lot of celebrity gossip that went around as you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
a big one for us was also Trina and Missy Elliott being a couple. That one might not have been untrue, but either way,
I think that
one would have been
smashed
pretty cool
for sure. That don't seem
pretty cool.
That would be cool, and
Yeah.
it would explain why there are so few collaborations.
But I remember hearing this one and going, huh? Like, why isn't this on the news? Why haven't we heard from an official source about something so tragic, violent, heinous, unspeakable? And I never really got an answer for that.
So you are told this in the hallways in between being bullied by I assume Haitian men.
A couple Bahamians.
Okay. And you hear this and your immediate instinct is this feels silly. This is absurd.
It felt way too wild and random to me.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking also, like, where do we come up with these?
Right.
Who's the person who's like, I'm gonna get this shit kicked started?
That's a
how
good
does
question.
it make the waves? Because the powerful thing about this story for me was that I think the following summer, I went down to visit my family in Jamaica, as I did quite often in the summertime as a kid. And my two of my uncles who are around the same age as me, my granddaddy was fast.
Salute.
I'm not mad at him. Recipes. We go down there and we're, kicking this shit, climbing trees, eating mangoes. And they asked me if Bow Wow was okay because they heard about him. And I'm like, I said, nigga, running water is like questionable around these parts. How the fuck do you know about this Bow Wow rumor?
Buddy, you can't be focusing on Bow Wow right now. You got other problems. This isn't it.
I like that they knew that you would have a direct line. Like you would be like, actually, he's doing well.
As the American.
I was actually with him in the hospital last week. He's healing up fine.
Let me text him. We don't have texting yet.
Hey, and the new record, it's a banger. You're going to love it.
Right. You just don't know the way he moves so fast.
Yeah, so you're not buying it. Bori, we're all of a similar age. You heard this around the same time. Did you believe it?
No, I didn't believe it. I remember it was in junior high school, and this kid on my wrestling team who smelled very
Sure.
very bad. His name was Wilt. He told me, and he said, he's not going to listen.
Of course
He's
no,
dead.
I just mean it's sad a man was named Wilt.
And smelled poorly.
Yeah. I mean, he was a boy at the time, but that's how I know. That's how I can put the date on it, because I remember the junior high school I was at, because I went to a lot of schools. And he told me that it was in the limo by his limo driver.
You're right.
And that there was like, I think he said, if my memory serves, I think he said 32 stitches.
Yeah.
Which, even as a little boy, I was like, how did this get to Wilt? You know what I mean? Of like, how did this trickle down all the way that sticky ass Wilt knows?
But also, how is it that Wilt is the number one source of Bow Wow information coming out of this specific area? Like, that doesn't fucking make sense.
You know, the craziest part about it, Wilt, shocker, white guy. It was a white guy.
Okay.
That explains a couple of things.
I was about to say, that starts to make this feel like an intentional sort of like Reagan moving crack through the community kind of vibes.
That's how it felt like a plant, because it was also like nobody else was talking about. He was the only one who said it to me.
Yeah.
Because I remember being like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then going about because he told me in the morning, and then going about my day. And no black people said anything about it to me all day. But I still remember Wilt telling me that.
Well, here's what I'll say. If I am a president of the United States and I'm watching this young upstart, Lil Bow Wow, start to make waves with young men and young women in a way that we haven't seen in a millennia. This motherfucker was Michael Jackson again level famous, and he wasn't really talking.
Big?
He was
when it first
big,
started?
bro.
He was huge.
I think we
I guess I didn't
forget
know
how
that.
fucking big Bow Wow was. He was unbelievably large. And he's not talking about drugs. He ain't talking about alcohol. He's
about
having
basketball.
a cool kind of fun that niggas can relate to. But
And
it
he still
isn't.
had like gangsta connects because he was
Yeah.
introduced by way of Snoop.
Yes.
Come on.
So he still had like street cred, even though he was 4.
Bro, you could still have him in the back of the video and it wasn't like corny. It wasn't crazy. He's a powerful figure in society. If I want to take that figure down, I got to start telling people he got butt sexed.
I think that there's something here. Along with the, putting them in dresses. Putting us in dresses to take our power and strength.
Come on.
They're like their way to attack the Black community and their fervor.
Yeah.
This is take down this power.
Here is my question though, and I do wonder this because this is truly a cross-country phenomenon right now. We have Miami to Chicago to Washington State. The fact that we all heard limo, the specificity of it does make you wonder how did this happen so specifically? Like, doesn't that feel crazy to you?
Yeah, that the rumor itself is so
like you would
tight.
think it would telephone a little bit to where you heard in Miami, maybe you heard limo. By the time it got to me, it was like Snoop Dogg's hot tub or some shit.
Right.
Like you know what I mean?
It was a Hummer too.
Yeah. Like the idea that it was a limo, and I heard driver. You both heard security, so a little bit different. But the specificity of it is interesting to me.
It is very interesting to me as well. But I'm also starting to think because it seemed to take so much life in the school system, I'm wondering if there was just like a rival child star parent that lost a job to this kid and was like, every opportunity I got.
Because listen, I'm a whistleblower. I'll say it. Do you think this was a masterpiece situation?
I was about to say, there's a man named Percy Miller who had a lot to gain during this era. And could not afford to lose.
Come on. And Romeo did not have what it took. I'll say it. Stacked up, it was no competition.
He didn't have it.
They were still fake beefing on that damn reality show. They were kids, the sisterhood of hip-hop.
Hip hop.
I'm ashamed to know that, but it's true.
No, I know what you're talking about. But also, we can all agree, Lil Romeo did not have it like Lil Bow Wow had it.
Have what?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No,
exactly.
That was no show.
He had a Nickelodeon show, I believe.
Boo!
His dad gave him that. That wasn't a well-earned, position.
He had JCPenney shoes. Lil Romeo was trash.
Yeah, he was bad.
Yeah, they were very bad.
He did have.
Yeah, very bad. Very bad.
Fuck, Bow Wow ain't have no damn shoes.
Listen, but Bow Wow was a king.
Do you own a do-rag? I bet Bow Wow sees a cut of it. I bet you paying Bow Wow right now. You be careful with the way you speak about Bow Wow on this podcast. Let us be frank and upfront about this. He is a historical figure that we value very much.
I don't value him.
We don't respect him, but we value him very much, and we don't want to besmirch. We need him to make it on this podcast so that we can finally make this whole thing whole.
If you say so.
That would be crazy.
But I won't come on here and tell y'all 20 more lies. So.
Big lies.
Big, crazy lies.
I'm on a jet right now.
So I really don't know what happened with Bow Wow. If anything traumatic or just wild ever happened in a limo and it just took on a life of his own. But I never really believed this particular rumor. Clearly some things have taken place in that young man's life to lead him to where he is today, though. So.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I actually think this is the perfect transition. We're going to take a break because when we come back, I actually did a bunch of research on that very subject and might have some answers as to what happened to Bow Wow and others. I did some research on a few others as well. So we'll take a break. We'll be back with more My Momma Told Me.
As long as you know I can have any man I want to, baby, that's actual and factual. Welcome back to another episode of My Momma Told Me,
the podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of Black conspiracy theories.
And we finally worked to prove that Shatasha Williams is not just the long gone forgotten singer of the hook of Thuggish Ruggish Bone. She is, in fact, a founding member of the group. They were the Bone Thugs, and she was the Harmony.
Whoa.
We forgot about that, didn't we? I got you, Shatasha, baby. Keep your head up. My name is David Board.
I'm Langston Kerman. Our guest is he's already feeling it. Please.
People don't talk enough about Antasha. She said Antasha.
Come on.
And we forgot about her. And then they said in the name, Bone Thugs and Harmony. We know they weren't singing.
Come on.
Justice for Tasha. Thank you, Bori. Can I call you Bori?
Yeah, I prefer it.
Bori, man, you protecting Black women by not forgetting what their accomplishments were, what they did, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Come on, she sang all of their names at the end of that song.
Listen,
Flesh in the house.
The knee bone is connected to the girl bone, and we forgot. We forgot that part of the song.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's intense. That's damn. Do you think they're ever sitting back and being like, damn, we owe her something. We really fucked her over.
I feel like they must know because I have done a deep bone dive, as we all have. We're adults here.
Sure. If this were Cameron's podcast, we would have had to pause you pretty hard there, but this ain't that podcast.
2024, I'm no pauses.
There we go.
All gas, no brakes. I'm going straight.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
I just talk, and sometimes sometimes I talk about mouth meat stuff, and it means whatever you need it to mean.
You got to put that on your website. Sometimes I talk about mouth meat stuff. That feels like a little bit of a signature detail about you.
I wouldn't say I don't need to celebrate it. It's just, how I'm living day to day.
We are excited. You've already heard his voice. Our guest today, we've been trying to get him on for a long time, and it's finally happening. And he's so funny, and we're so grateful that he's here. He's a comedian, a producer, a content creator, a person of extraordinary breath and talents. He's wonderful. He's funny. You're gonna love him. Please give it up for our guest, Mr. KevOnStage, everybody.
What up, man?
There we go.
Nice.
I got a few in there.
Hey, thanks you guys for having me on the show, man. I'm excited to be here, man. This is the way to kick off the year. Hollywood, we really just started working today for real.
Yeah.
So this is feels like the first day back at school, and I'm glad to be doing this with y'all.
Yeah, no, we're happy you're here. I was at my manager's office this morning, and they said something similar to that, and I got real mad. I was like, y'all niggas, what? I didn't work for 9 months, bitch. What you mean you just getting started today?
Take the first off. There's work to be done.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't get your ass back in the office and make some calls that aren't going to turn into anything, but call them anyway.
I'm
trying to read for the In the House reboot.
At least lie to me, man. Just lie to me. At least tell me I made some calls they passed. Tell me something, man.
That's all I'm asking for is make me believe you tried. Do that thing where a car is coming and we trot across the street, and we're not going any faster than when we be walking, but trot. Show me the trot.
Give me a light jog, man.
Man, that's a big way that I show people how I care about them. I do.
Yeah. The little trot.
I just pick the shoulders up, maybe. The feet does not change. The feet
doesn't change at all.
Funny,
but
I'll
give you mine.
That's all people can ask for.
That's all you can ask for.
I'm walking.
Kev, you came to us with a conspiracy theory that I don't think I had ever heard before. Bori, where do you fall?
I've heard this before.
You have heard this.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting. Okay, great. So I'm the only idiot here. But you said my mama told me.
Never play with silver toys when there's lightning outside, or you will be struck down.
Exactly. So, growing up as we probably did, we're in the same generation. Action figures were a big part of our life. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have iPads and stuff like that. We had cartoon, we played outside, we had action figures.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time that I learned of this conspiracy theory, I had a Shredder, which was my prize villain. I was a big Turtles fan.
Okay.
I had a couple legit Turtles, and I didn't always get the actual toys. I got versions of them. I remember one year I asked my dad for the Batman coupe with you know what I'm saying, and it came with Batman. And he just got me the coupe. It was in the box and the Batman was gone. And I was like, what happened to the Batman? He was like, you a kid in Africa wouldn't have had nothing. I was like, but he didn't just buy like a coupe. Batman came in that box. Somebody had opened it and taken the Batman out. And then somehow my dad just came into possession of the coupe. But I was like, I have nobody to put in the coupe. So I just had a random G.I. Joe man in the coupe. It just didn't hit the same.
He was just hanging out in the back of Kmart being like, y'all ain't about to throw this away, right?
Exactly.
Because I know a boy who might like this quite a bit.
Salvation Army Christmas gifts, whatever it was. So he gave me like half of what I wanted. But at this time, I had mostly off-brand men. We called them men. I had mostly off-brand men. Just
legally, you had to call them men.
Because they're not action figures. They're not sold at Toys R Us or KB Toys. They sold at places that don't even sell toys. You know what I'm saying?
Swap G.I. Jojo.
Exactly. They adjacent, right? But this time I had actually, I think for like a birthday, I had like 4 of the actual Turtles and an actual Shredder. So these were like the creme de la creme of my toys. I play with them every day. So I'm playing with them, you know what I'm saying? It's a lightning storm and the power is out. So I'm really like, oh, this is, you know what I'm saying? I'm playing with these action figures, right? So my mom comes in and I got the Shredder in my right hand. I don't know why this is such a vivid memory. Maybe because I was so confused by what she was saying.
Yeah.
And she was like, what are you doing, boy? Put that down. You can't play with no silver toy. You gonna get struck down by lightning. And I looked at the Shredder and I'm like, this is plastic. First of all, this is not. And I was not like, I've always been kind of a smart person. I'm in my head. I was young enough to know that this cannot conduct electricity at all. There is and his Shredder stuff was coming off, right? You know what I'm saying? I play with the toy for real.
Yeah.
So you can see it's like brown, you know what I'm saying? It's like the color of the skin under there.
You get Shredder in the bathtub one too many times, and that ain't Shredder no more.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like they were putting a lot of, high quality stuff into these men.
That's just a Japanese man in football gear. That ain't
Shredder Japanese.
He's Japanese. Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, in the lore, I think there's a lot of lore in Ninja Turtles about where Shredder and Splinter come from, some of which suggests that they are connected directly and some of which they didn't know each other at all. Always Shredder was like a big mob guy in Japan that then finds his way into New York somehow.
Learned something. I thought he was Italian for some reason.
I'm gonna get you, Turtles.
Yeah. Now look under the sewers.
Do you guys have accents on your resume? Do you have Italian accent proficient? Because you need to add it. If you don't have it, you need to add it.
Oh, no. I tend to only do these in the house.
So she was like, she wasn't fussing. She was just genuinely concerned. Like, put this, and I'm like, I'm inside the house. The windows are closed. I didn't say any of this because she's a black mom. Like, you can't.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying? But in my head, I'm like, how is lightning going to come through the world? Avoid all the objects outside that are actual silver, catalytic converters, everything that's in the world. Go through my closed window and see this plastic Shredder in my hand and strike me with lightning. Like, I just was like, there's no way this could be true. But I put it down. I picked up like Rocksteady and Bebop. She was like, all right, now that, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are purple, you know what I'm saying?
Now, those are decent lightning-fearing men. Go ahead. Enjoy yourself in the dark.
But I just I remember I never bought into it. Like, I don't have foil. I don't have a fork. This is a plastic man with more plastic that is just colored to look like silver. You know what I'm saying? I can't die. And I never heard no other parents say that. That was the first. It's actually interesting that Bori had heard that because I wasn't like at the other friend's house and they were like, man, you know what I'm saying? Mom was on that. Like I never heard that before or from anybody else. But it's good to know that it's not that unusual.
I've heard it just with metal in general. Silver is specific. I had just heard it in metal. Don't be fucking around with metal.
Got it.
It's lightning outside.
I think that's what I had heard as well. Is like you can't like be running around with forks when there's lightning outside.
Because to be completely honest, I don't have any silver in the house now. I'm 36 years old. Like I don't have.
We got to get you some silver.
Oh, you got so much silver on it right now, Langston. You got so much silver. You got so much fucking silver. Buddy, you got to
have silver in your house.
You, man. I don't believe you.
No, I don't have an ounce of silver.
Exactly.
Trust me, daddy.
Yo, you're going crazy. You're doing good.
Doing your thing.
Yeah, I had always heard metal, like avoid obviously metal objects holding metal during lightning storms.
Yeah.
I had never heard silver specifically, and I certainly had never then spread that out to even silver appearing objects. Do you think that there was a specific reasoning for silver for your mom?
You know, it's funny. Metal makes sense. I feel like maybe through the grapevine, somebody said metal and she just was like, silver is metal. I'm just going to take the metal part out and focus on the silver. Because I never questioned that part until today. Metal, I would have believed, and the thing I think was messing with me is the toy was plastic.
Yeah. Right.
So I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. But, you know, how do Black parents learn anything? Right? Like, the internet's really interesting because I'm realizing like there's this meme that goes viral every once in a while. It's like if you had this cover, you was Black, and it's like a blanket I recognize. And I'm like, how did so many Black? Where was this manufactured?
Yeah,
like so I feel like that information came through like that, like the way those cookies became tins for like sewing. Like who's the first person that does that? Why do we Black people? So many of us have that shared experience. That, you know, there's no cookies in the cookie tin, but there's like sewing equipment or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it was one of those things. Like, I don't know how this information got around, but it seems to be common knowledge.
It does speak to the fact that, like, to some extent, the Black community that we refer to did exist in a much more active way when we were kids, and obviously when our parents were kids and all of that shit, in part because they were all learning from the same 6, like, templates of people, where it's like everybody just learned the same 6 things, so we are in fact a community, and now the internet sort of disrupts the ability for that to even be true anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like a lot of my life I've taken so much word as fact from just like a dude sitting on the hood of a car.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
And it's like he's confident he has a car, I guess.
The confidence is key, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I remember my mom once told me that Aretha Franklin's son had run off with, what's his name? He was the army dude in fucking Different World. And I can't remember his fucking name now, but he's a very fantastic actor.
Lou Rawls?
No, not Lou Rawls.
I mean, not Lou Rawls. Louis Gaines?
Yes.
Some Mr.
Not
Gaines,
Louis
the guy who
Gossett
played...
Jr.
Oh.
God damn, I'm going to be mad.
Oh, the other dude?
Yeah, he was in Fargo season 5.
Glenn Turman.
Yes, Glenn Turman. Yeah. My mom told me for years that Glenn Turman had like a secret affair with Aretha Franklin's son. They had run off together, and that was why her and Glenn Turman didn't make it and all this shit. And I've never even looked up to verify if there's any truth to that. And I've never heard anyone else make that claim. It was just my mom saying it.
Did you come home? We believed everybody was related. We were one of those. Like Tatiana Ali was for sure Muhammad Ali's daughter. What? I quoted that till recently.
Yeah. And then you look it up and you're like, oh, no, I don't think so.
I think it's because I was like, well, there's not that many famous Black people. They must be related.
Down the line. Like down the line, they got to connect somewhere.
At some point. There's a lot of Smiths. A lot of Jacksons. Is that crazy? You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
So your mom says this to you. You agree to disagree, but you put down the shredder.
Yeah.
Have you carried any of this onward in your life? Have you since been like weirdly superstitious or nervous around silver objects in a lightning storm, despite what you know logically to be untrue inside of this?
No, absolutely not. I think as hard as it is to admit, I didn't believe my mom. I just could not defy her. And I think those are two separate things.
Oh, yeah.
In my mind, I was just like, this is just not true. But, small Black children didn't really have a voice growing up the way we did. We really couldn't question our parents. Yeah. But I remember being like, this is just not true. And if she weren't here, I would be playing with this. And if I got struck by lightning, I would have been really surprised. Like, dang, she was right. That is crazy.
Let me tell you, as far as my family, large Black men don't have much of a voice. I'm still not pushing the line on things she says.
Really?
She had a hard. She's from a different country. I don't know. Maybe they are sneaky. I don't.
Oh my God!
Yo, my mom just tried to FaceTime me. That's bad luck, bro.
You're in trouble.
Bad.
Yeah, you fucked up.
On it, bro. She was on it.
No.
Baby girl figured out how to get a feed, and she's
if she's listening.
She heard exactly what you said.
Yeah, if she's listening, I'll call you back, mommy. I'm sorry. Because all of me loves all of you, all your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Welcome, Lil Mommas and Gentiles-A-Like, to another phenomenal episode of My Momma Told Me,
the podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of Black conspiracy theories.
And we finally worked to prove that the lump of coal traditionally placed in a stocking is not, in fact, from that Eurocentric tradition, but from an African tradition where Santa Claus was Black. And the question was, are you nasty or nice? It was not a good or bad thing. It was simply a sexual thing. And the lump of coal was meant to suggest one of Santa's big black nuts. I'm David Bory.
I'm Langston Kerman, and hey, I look, it's got a lot of complexity to it.
I thought you would like it.
I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
I really was hoping you would enjoy that.
The idea that Santa was just trying to get some pussy and really
trying to give some dick, I would say.
Okay, fair enough. He's not as much like being a desperate man. He's trying to share the wealth with the greater community. The diaspora, if you will.
It's diasporic. And the idea of are you nasty or nice makes sense because it's like, I don't know, if I have a year where I was nasty, I was not that nice, and vice versa.
Yeah, I see that for sure. Good for you and good for Santa Claus, I'd say.
Yeah. You gotta think of a name.
I can tell our guest already has big feelings on this conversation.
Let's let them in.
Yeah, she mouth agape, I would say, is the best way. You can talk. We don't. We intro.
Oh, okay, I was trying to be respectful of the intro.
I think I told you ahead of time. This is bullshit. Go ahead and jump in whenever.
No, I wanted to be professional now. You don't want to come in the intro. Y'all got to do y'all shit up top, Okay, they'll call me.
We will call you, but it don't matter.
Yeah. No, that's David. You're disgusting.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Little bit.
He was like nasty or nice. I was like, oh, the children.
Well, this is grown folks Christmas.
Yeah, this ain't.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, I love it. This is Friday after next.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, great. Them kids in bed.
Yeah, Santa got a extra medium dada on.
Absolutely.
If you guys recall the film.
Yes.
My favorite Christmas movie.
No, I play it all the time. It's one of my favorite.
I feel like people don't give it the credit that it deserves for being.
Are we talking about Friday After Next?
Yeah, very funny movie.
Yeah.
No, niggas do. We love it.
That's
true. That Black people, we play it all the time. Like, it's like, for some people, it's a wonderful life. It's Friday After Next.
I will say, it was a really impressive third film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the
It's
first one
hard.
obviously is like amazing. The second one ain't done great, but we can talk
Whoa,
about that.
whoa. Don't be
Oh,
like
Langston.
that.
Don't-
Oh, the
That's not right.
slander.
That's not
Oh,
fair.
the
That's not
slander.
fair.
The second one.
Listen,
Are you serious?
okay.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead ass. I think
The
it's.
second
I think
one
it's
was
fine.
It brought us
so
my
good.
guests. What are you talking about?
Absolutely. And Pinky?
I think it's.
That, what?
I think it's got. Listen, I think the second one has what a lot of second albums have, where it's got like big hits. But I don't think that if you just watch it top to bottom, you're like, this is killing all the way through.
You're wrong.
Okay,
No, that's
okay,
not correct.
I could see. Okay, Dave, I could see his point. Out of all the three, the second one being the weakest link. It's still good.
Let's agree on
but
that.
it's your
If nothing else,
your third kid didn't go to the NBA. He's still an accountant.
and I like him less. That's my point.
And you know what, Langston? And to know that you're a father, this is very affirming to hear.
I like my NBA player sons more, is my point.
Absolutely.
Man,
I don't love him less. I know that he adds to the greater story, but come on, bro. You ain't getting me tickets every week. This is what do you want from me?
I'm not going to hold you. That is probably a very accurate assessment of what would happen.
Yes. No, I think Ice Cube broke stars. So I was very grateful. Like the first one, we were able to get so many like Chris Tucker, Debo, Big Worm, so
Even
many.
DJ Pooh.
Even DJ Pooh, yeah. Even Miss Parker. Like
Nia Long, y'all.
Nia Long, yeah. It was so many iconic characters. And it was her name Paula Jai. She was the Mama on Pride family. She was the one with the braids that came in. So, yeah, it was just, and then Pops, Anna Maria Hart. So it was just, he broke stars. And I think each film, obviously I'm biased because I'm from LA, born and raised, but each film I think was an accurate depiction of what it's like growing up here. And I think it's important that niggas who are from here, if you're from that specific area, that's why you should tell it, versus somebody outside of the club that, just is kind of like echoing whiteness and black ass stereotypes.
I don't ever know that I thought of it, and this is beautiful to hear. I say this not with any judgment. I never considered that it was meant to be like as much of an homage to LA as you're sort of like centering it.
You didn't think about it as an LA movie? Or like you just
I think it's 100% an LA movie. I just never thought that was his instinct.
That makes
It
sense.
might not have been. It might not have been. Because when you see interviews, like Chris Tucker even said, this shit ain't gonna fucking go. This motherfucker. Big Worm has done interviews. Faison Love, let me call him his actual name. Faison Love has done many interviews.
You can call him
like,
Worm over here.
I don't know if we had some Faison heads.
Hey.
I know we had some Faison. I don't want to
Love his work at the airport. Love his work at the airport.
But yeah, I think he's done many interviews when he's just like, yeah, we didn't know what it was going to do. Everybody's just like, yeah, this script, like, it's going to come out. Like, we'll see what happens. So I don't even think Ice Cube was like, oh, this is homage. But I think if you're making something about where you're from, it may not even be on a conscious level, but you are. It because it was so rooted in LA culture, because it was so authentic to our experience, we can't help but to see it as that. I could definitely see other people that are not from there. They're like, oh, I didn't get that perspective, And for me, when I watch Southside, it's like, oh, yeah, this shit is just funny. But niggas from the shot, it's like, oh, no, this is really what it is. Like, we're so grateful we see ourselves, which is why representation is so important.
Yeah, it's cool when I think people are able, and it's one of my bigger frustrations with what the internet is doing right now, where it takes away some of like the regional nature of culture. You know what I mean? Like 100%. It used to be when a Chicago rapper came out, you knew that was a Chicago rapper. An Atlanta rapper, LA rapper. Yeah, exactly. He was dressed ridiculous and and he seemed like he was like 5 years behind everybody else. But the point is, I think there's now this regional washing where like everybody sounds like everybody, and I miss the time when like we sort of like had these subsects of culture that almost seemed like they never even met each other. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why Kendrick had to remind you niggas. Not like us. And even that little snippet broccoli before that. It's just like, yeah. Me. Yeah, but that's the thing. Kendrick, he was on this song called Do Your Gutter, which you guys probably don't know, but it's a very West Coast song. And this was about 2013. So this was post Overly Dedicated, right?
Yeah.
Pre Good Kid, Mad City. So that's like one of the only times that, and I will say the R.I.P. remix that we heard him like really be on some super duper LA West Coast shit. But he has it in him, and we know that. But I think that's why I think there's a lot of discourse about Kendrick doing that, because he's just like, yes, Drake, what is your sound? What is your culture? What is that? And I will say, as a Drake fan, the veil was lifted. I had no idea. It didn't even occur to me that this nigga was biting Atlanta style, Memphis style, like Houston, Cadillac music, screw, chopped. It didn't even dawn on me until I was like, this nigga
I didn't know that.
This nigga's from Toronto. You're right, because
why he got Bun B in all these videos?
When Kendrick said, keep making me dance and wave my hands and it won't be no threat. It's like, yeah, just do the dance shit. Like, he's like,
his first best song was called Houston, Atlanta, Vegas.
That was a crazy song.
I'm not that bright. It's like, it just missed me. It was like 2010, best I ever had. I wasn't a Degrassi fan, so I didn't know that nigga was in a wheelchair and all that. So all Heartbreak Drake was my first introduction. Like, Drake Grammy nominated with no album out. You know, like, that's how I met him. And so early 20s, you know, business casual in the club. So I was just like, this was.
And I think, if I may, I think we also were in an era where we didn't ask for that kind of accountability from our rappers. It was just like, oh, that shit hit. So he probably was in that strip club in Houston.
That shit also didn't phase in, I feel like, in a major way till later, right?
Yeah.
Like the Toronto Roadman, all that type shit. He didn't like it. At first, it was just like, I'm so young and successful, it's so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm 24. It is. I'm going to open mics. Like, yo, I know way too many people in here right now.
Oh, I'm so successful. It's so hard. I got 17 bad bitches in here. Who am I gonna choose?
But my mom gets sad sometimes, and
yeah,
that's really what he was rapping about. He was like,
that's what he said.
He was like, I got all these bad bitches, but I worry about my mama, man.
And that was like our intro to him. So with this whole beef, that's why I think it's bigger than Kendrick and Drake. It's about like, it's about culture vultures. It's like, nigga, you met your daddy at 35. Like, he met his daddy late in the game. Your daddy's from Memphis. You're not. You didn't spend every summer in Memphis. Like, so it's interesting. And I think because Drake would just he just kept going back. He probably would have won if he was like, you know what, Kendrick, you're right. He should have went on live and be like, I fucked up. You know, like, I actually, you're correct. But he's just like doubling down, and you keep putting them cornrows in that little white boy's braids, just messing up his whole scalp, just his poor little temples. He can't hold it. And so I just.
Here's what I'll say, and I'm with you on almost all of what you're saying, but I do respect him braiding Adonis's hair. I think.
Langston, go to hell.
If my kid looked like that, he would only
you got to give that kid something cool. Or else, that is a victim you're raising. Because that is an odd-looking little boy, and you got to give him a signature in some kind of way.
But here's the thing, Langston. You know that Sexy Red did all the braids, and then Drake came in midpoint and was like, get the shot. He is not parting that hair. He is not taking that shining jam and that rat tail comb.
I'm not mad that the dad can't braid hair. That's fair. That's reasonable.
My daughter leaves the house looking gorgeous every day. I don't touch it. I don't help at all. So
my mom
Drake ain't got to braid it, but he got to do something to save that little odd looking boy. And I think braids is the best alternative.
I think he's also got him in basketball camps. I think he's doing a lot of things.
He does. Yeah. But
you got to build character with that little weird looking.
Listen. Soon as Adonis gets a certain age, I promise you, if it's not already now, they're gonna say, "What is it? The braids?" Every time he steps on,
he's gonna have a hard time.
He's gonna have a hard time.
I think, and we should intro you at some point. I think I think the biggest victim of this beef who has gone unrecognized up to this point is Adonis Graham. I don't think that
I do feel for that little boy.
Yeah.
I do feel because he was catching strays. When Meet the Grahams came out, some people didn't like it, but I'm a big competitor. Like Draymond, I have issues with him, but the passion, I just love, he's so passionate.
Yeah,
he's
you love dark-skinned basketball. You don't have to explain it over here.
Yeah. I just love the passion. So with Meet the Grahams, it's like, yes, this is competitive. He's trying to win. But I do think that the baby is, innocent. He didn't ask to be here. And I just think that race is weird. It's complicated. It's difficult. So I feel like Drake just wants to have it so bad. And it's like, you have a white son. That little boy is white.
He's living a literal nightmare. He wants so desperately to be seen as like the realest nigga alive, and he's raising a white child.
But was that the space people were holding for Drake? I always thought he was like R&B. That's what I liked about him.
But that's not what he liked about himself, and that's what makes it so hard.
I also think that he reminds me of old niggas that start wearing shoes with charms.
Oh man!
They're just trying to. It's just like it's.
I know
just
you
too
didn't say that to me, but it hurt my feelings.
It's just like it's just too many LV with different colors on the backpack. It's just fighting for youth. It's just like Drake. I think he's knocking on 40 or he is 40. And it's like, nigga, that's not old, but you are not a spring chicken. Like, it's okay.
Too old to dress exactly like Dipset did when you were in high school.
Yeah.
And not in a way that feels wavy. It feels
listen, we've all thought about it. I'm 37. I've thought about, I got some money. Maybe I get the pink. But then you don't because, you have people.
You don't.
Yeah, you have people who love you. And you're like,
you don't got to do that.
It doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
Bro, you know what an IRA is. You don't got to do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Roth IRA. I need to call Jeff after this call. I just signed a business tax return this morning.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Love it.
No, but yeah, I think that he's living a life that isn't reflective of, his age. I think he's still out here, I got 2 bad bitches in a club. I think it's just, and you're dressing like Shmino, someone half your age. Like he did a little. So I just think like it might be a reckoning of like, who am I? Not to take it there, but it might be like, who am I? What am I now in this thing? I'm too old to be the young nigga I'm not Lil Yachty, right? But I'm not Jay-Z, right? Like you're not 50s in a walking club. So it's just kind of like, where do I fall? So it might be a reckoning of like identity of like, who am I?
I think that's definitely it. I think that was always the issue, right? I think that's why even within his responses, he just tried to towards the end, he tried to parrot Kendrick's style, which is ultimately what he does with everything. And that's why it didn't work.
Proving the point, right, Dave?
It's just an identity
proving the
crisis.
point. And it's just like, but I love Kendrick said, I like Drake with the melodies. Listen, he said, everything with me is blessed. I still want you to see success. Like, Kendrick's like, listen, just keep making me dance, wave my hands. It will be, leave me alone. This little 5'7" nigga, leave him alone.
No, he should have left him alone. And it's unfortunate he didn't. I really do. I really do think he wakes up every morning with deep, deep regret that he was wilding. He was being like, "Where you at? You ain't responded." Yeah, he was coming with a lot of energy.
Yes, and I genuinely believe Kendrick has 5 more, but Top was like, "Let him live." It's like when you seeing somebody get their ass beat, or I don't know where y'all grew up, but I grew up in the hood, so I've seen many of fights, and I've seen many of homegirls, and I'm just like, Lisa, that's it. Like, I have to pull her off. I'm like, no, you got it. There's blood everywhere.
That's why he's in charge.
Dave. Yes, that's why, Dave. That was perfect. Yes, but I didn't mean to talk about Kendrick and Drake. I'm just the biggest Kendrick fan. I'm from LA, so
you made that clear.
I didn't mean to get it. Yeah,
it's very obvious who you chose in this.
We all have friends from Los Angeles. Everybody's text messages have been blowing up. Yeah. Maybe too much the last month.
Yeah, I think maybe we can relax on a few things.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're
My
up.
girls from
We're
LA
up.
very excited. Tommy the
I
Clown
listened
was
to
in
the
video.
pop out at 6 a.m. I know
That's
that
not good. That is not good.
I was there. And me and DJ Mustard went to high school together, so I had to pull up. Yeah. He used to actually, when they took out all the Fruitopia and Top Ramen and tried to make us be healthy, he was slanging like Gushers and Capri Suns. Like, always been a hustler when he was like 14.
That's maybe one of the better sentences anybody's ever said on this podcast.
You know, my favorite part of the sentence is how you pronounce gushers.
Oh, Gushers?
Gushers? That's fucking disgusting. That is foul.
Oh, that's how y'all say it.
Gushers.
Gusher. Ooh.
That's the way the commercial said it. That is, you made it nasty. You treated it like Santa Claus.
Nasty girl, nasty. I've been a nasty girl, nasty. I'm Mrs. Claus. How about that?
All right.
There we go. There we go.
There we go.
Our guest today claims to be Mrs. Claus. We cannot confirm or deny it, but she's wonderful. You've already heard her voice for probably our entire first break. She's an actress. She's a comedian, an improver, a sketch performer, all the cool shit. A writer. You know her from her group or her show rather, Ragged Edge R&B comedy show that you can check out. She also is responsible for Who Made the Potato Salad, a sketch, comedy, and community resource hub for Black and brown people. She is so talented. We're so happy she's here. Give it up for X Mayo.
To the blessings of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about this before we were recording, but this is maybe the longest, hardest fought booking we've ever had. This was supposed to happen all the way back in January. It did not, and through a very series, and I would say vast series of mishaps, we have continued to struggle to book this, but we're so happy that you finally are making it on.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to book it. It was always like when, and I was so grateful that you guys were still down, but yeah, I got COVID, you know, I take care of my brother, and then I had deadlines, and then David got booked, and it was like, it was a bunch, but I was like, I want to make this happen. I saw you guys' live show, and you guys came at my girl Countess Vaughn, and we'll discuss that.
I don't know about came at. I was on the side of it.
I think I was the only person that.
Yeah,
that
was me. I think Zach Fox and I.
And listen,
yeah, no, Zach Fox wanted to smash. So yeah, really just Langston.
And
That's
I'll say
really,
this.
yeah.
I'll say this. I have no regrets. I still maintain exactly what I felt. The fact that you seem to be coming in with this threatening energy doesn't scare me one fucking bit. I stand behind my shit. If you thought for a second you were going to go off about Kendrick and gang culture and I was going to back off, no. Only one light-skinned man is going to die this year, and it ain't going to be me.
Let's go.
You know what, Langston? You are a bad bitch. You are a bad bitch, Langston. I should have known you would have came in with that energy. Absolutely.
I also stand behind my statement, Countess Vaughn, any day of the week. Baby.
Wow.
I know, Dave. A talent, an icon.
Come on.
Where's her flowers?
I was so surprised at that. Were you not a Moesha man? Is that what it is?
I did like Moesha
You're
quite
a Niecy guy? You Niecy guy?
That is a good question.
Shar Jackson?
I did think Shar Jackson was bad.
Fine. She was fine.
She's beautiful.
She's definitely the batter of Moesha's friends, if we're going down the list.
Okay. Apparently some people aren't.
David's face. Okay.
Some people aren't.
Who was
Moesha's
talent. Enemy? Wasn't it fucking Beyonce's cousin?
No, Bianca, you might be thinking of a different one. I think it was Reagan Gomez Preston from Parenthood.
Ooh,
I loved her.
She was a baddie too.
Loved her.
I love the Parenthood.
I love the Parenthood too. Parenthood was my shit. That WB block, iconic
Steve
television.
Harvey show. What else was
Jamie
on
Foxx show.
Jamie Foxx
the Wayans
show.
brothers. Yeah.
They casted those shows back then with no plans of proving that those people were related.
Nope.
You know what I mean? They just would, if you were black, you could be in the family.
Yeah.
You didn't have to look alike.
Robert Townsend had a dark skin. He had a light skin. And I'm pretty sure a Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Her last name is Gomez.
Yeah, no, it's Reagan Gomez Preston.
Oh, okay.
And she was brown skin. Reagan was a brown skin girl.
She was.
She was a part of that era of iconic 90s black women that I love. It was like Maya Campbell, Reagan Gomez Preston, Shar Jackson,
Baddies.
Halle Berry, Nia Long.
Countess Vaughn.
You know. Countess Vaughn. Countess Vaun.
Come on, put an asterisk next to it.
Yes, David.
Come on, put a little star next to that name.
Langston, you're problematic, okay? You know what, Langston? You know what? You're not going to give Countess her flowers, and that's okay.
Listen.
And that's okay. She was a star.
She was
a star.
Sing.
Objectively a star.
She sung with Leanne Rhymes.
She sung with Usher. Did you see when they were on the couch flirting?
Yeah, but come on. He had to be there. So he was like, yeah, I'll sing with you, baby. Come on. he wasn't like... he wasn't like, Countess, we got to get in the studio.
I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way that you act.
No,
that's
man.
what Langston said.
He does it to hurt us. Don't
he wasn't like, Countess, we gotta get this recorded for my next album. He was just like, nah, I'm here.
You know what, David?
I'll sing with you on the couch.
Langston is a troll. Let me stop. I forget. You stand-ups, you little trolls. Yes.
Troll or not, we're here today to discuss. You came to us with a conspiracy theory that it's heavy. And I don't even know that we're going to have enough time to jump into very much about it, but I'm excited that you're coming.
I don't remember which one. I sent a few.
Oh, this is exciting. So you're going to find out as we find out.
I like it. I thought this was a very good one.
Yeah, this is a really good one. We got excited, but you said, My Mama Told Me.
The government is planting fentanyl in the street drugs because they want us to use the dispensaries and pay that high tax.
Stay off the damn weed.
You're going crazy. Bro, it's Jordan in the garden. I'm not even trying to acknowledge it. I just got to keep going.
Yes,
Tell us everything.
Yes, I do. That is my conspiracy theory. I think that having family members and friends that are of the gang community, weed consuming.
I was going to say entrepreneurial spirit.
Entrepreneurial spirit. Thank you, David. Listen, you're going to be my key witness.
Whoa. I don't go to court.
No more.
No more. Okay.
It's a personal choice.
Yeah, I knowing that and just being like, hey, things are changing in my weed. Like people, passing out. Things are happening amongst them. People that are on the ground. It kind of supports this conspiracy theory that I have, that it's just like, they put crack in the community, so it's just like, it's not really far-fetched to believe that they would be doing that. They also don't give a fuck about us. So us dying is to their benefit. So yeah, I could just, I don't know how it's happening. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they're undercover or what's happening. But my conspiracy theory is about that, because also too, there are people that have given like their testimonies and stuff on Instagram. Like, yo, my Brooklyn Connect, his weed has been like this. Like, what's going on? Have y'all heard anything? So then I started seeing that a few times. And then people are like, okay, well, now I got to go to dispensary because it's clean, right? And then it's super duper expensive. And then they want you to have like an ID and all this. It's like so many different.
Asking for tips now. Or at least here they're asking for. No, they are. They're asking for tips.
David. No, I'm listening because they are.
When you run your card, they're like, oh, it just schedules up to the next dollar, which is like, bro, I used to buy this with change.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Like, this is.
Yeah, I don't respect y'all different than than regular motherfuckers on the street.
Yeah. I mean, from when I was a kid, we used to be, shout out to JR, in middle school, $5 blunts.
Oh,
wow.
How affordable.
Mm-hmm.
And it would already be rolled up, fully assembled.
No, it would be like
I was getting excited for you. I was like, damn, he was doing pre-roll blunts?
It would be like 1.5 little nut. And it would be like the old when you had to take the seeds and the stems out. Yeah. And then up to dimes, and then dubs, and then like $30 quarters when we got older and stuff. I smoked bad weed until it got legal, though. So
I got you.
Wait, where are you from, Dave?
I was in Colorado that whole time. Denver, Colorado.
Okay. Is that where you're from?
I grew up in Washington State till I was 12.
Oh my God. I never met no black people from Denver.
I could tell by the way you asked him that question. You know what I mean? It kind of had a real...
No, we're here though because there was like a
octopus have how many hearts?
No, because there was a thriving jazz music scene in the historic Five Points in Denver. There's black people in Denver.
Yeah. No, of course. I'm just saying.
Also a lot of Mexicans.
Oh yes, yes, and I am Mexican, so we are everywhere, 100%. We're everything.
I don't know what Langston's
once.
laughing at. I was just trying to give the breakdown of my city.
No, Langston is
this
fucked
motherfucker
up.
whispered, and I know.
We know what he meant. That's why I said, okay, let me just set the atmosphere. Because I get that with niggas all the time. They be saying some wild shit about Mexicans, and I said, and what else? And what? Because I'm Mexican. They were like, oh, nah, they
good
cool.
People. Good
no,
people.
They hella cool. the one who cleaned my line, I love him.
Some of the funniest kids at school.
That's true.
Summer school with the Mexican kids who are in ESL, hilarious. Every one of them. Every one of them. Shout out to my man Rodrigo.
So you're from Denver. It wasn't legal there. Because I think being from LA, it's always been fire, I guess, for people.
Like medical was legal way early,
in Denver.
Right? No. I mean in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah. Because I used to work at TSA. So when I was there in 2000, and not in fucking around. And I was there from 2008 to 2010. It was legal during that time. So I used to get so mad because y'all civilians thought you were so fucking clever. And just
civilians is a bold statement.
Yeah.
You weren't in the military.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
I was Department of Homeland Security.
I'll be honest.
Langston.
I'm not saluting you for your work.
I don't think about y'all on Memorial Day.
Langston, y'all on Veterans Day, I need $1. You need to Venmo me for my work. Excuse me?
I don't.
Do you know, Langston, do you know what I caught? You have no idea what I caught to keep you two niggas safe.
I don't.
Top flight security of the world, Greg.
One of y'all niggas stole my pick the last time I flew. I'm not.
Was it metal? Was it metal?
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's exactly why.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why. Absolutely.
Bullshit.
And it was people like you that we made miss their flight. Because y'all didn't respect us. No respect.
If you gotta ask like that.
You don't love me? You don't love me?
No, but yeah, it was wild. It was wild. You niggas would put weed in foil and it's be like, stupid.
Oh yeah.
This is a metal detector. or they would put it in foil and then put it through the X-ray. It was like, you think that's not gonna show up immediately?
I remember a dude telling me he would tape it to his nuts when he flew.
Oh yeah, we found stuff there. We found a lot of stuff in anuses. My last day, I caught something in a pussy.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you get, like an eighth up there?
She had it she had like a dime, but she put it in a old school Kodak case with a picture of Steve Urkel on the front that said, "Did I do that?"
You should have let her keep it just for she's good. I like that lady.
I wish it was Steve Harvey on the front and it said, "Did I do that?" That'd be all right. What is this?
Yeah.
Honestly, go through. This is weird. You too weird.
No, well, I thought I had a terrible manager at the time, so I thought that he was trying to be slick and just being like, okay, you know what? I thought it was like he tried to give me a test on the last day. So this is my last day of working. So I was like, ha ha, very fucking funny. You tried to give me a test on the last day. He was like, no, it's not a test. Like, you actually caught something, which I was so pissed because you have to do so much paperwork. And then we had to call LAWA over, like airport police and everything like that. But she was already sus. We are trained heavily.
I bet.
Yeah, we're trained heavily in body detection. So I'd know when someone's lying, when someone's fidgeting. Like,
when you say trained heavily.
Yeah.
Was it 2 videos? They made us watch 2 whole videos.
Is it a slideshow? Is it you got a text message? Yeah.
Yeah, your boss texts you in the morning like, check it, watch people's body language. Yeah. It might be.
Absolutely not. No, we had 6 months. I was doing through training for almost a year. So it's 6 months of just body detection. So there's body detection people at the airports that look just like me and you. That are unassuming.
Well, I mean, and here's another point that I have to the whole TSA of it all. Not myself, people that I have known have maybe accidentally flown with drugs. Pretty easy.
Yeah, it depends. Because the thing is, too, is just like, what made me so angry with her was, like I said, it was legal during the time. As long as you had your medicinal shit, which was so fucking easy to get. Like, you could just walk up to a place and get a thing.
That was the original conspiracy theory, is that they're going to put you on a list if you get med card. Or that's how it was here, for sure.
Oh.
That was like the initial. So when we got medical and went, there was a very, like, I would say tumultuous transfer period for weed from going from legally medical to fully legal. It was like there were still weed men out here, and like dispensaries would get robbed and shit like that in the early days, because like people were like, we know you got a bunch of weed in this warehouse. Right. So it was like a very rocky and I remember when that initially happened, at least here, that was kind of the concern of some more conspiratorial minded people of like, you're going to sign up for the list to get weed? Like, that's crazy.
I had never heard that before, but that makes perfect sense. Like, it is silly that we would be like, well, I'll register, and then it'll be, this,
and then
this
all of
otherwise
a sudden,
illegal drug will be legal for me. It's
right.
Like,
exactly.
I don't think that's
it sounds very, because especially in the beginning, everything was like, it was all cash. So it felt like drugs for a while still.
Yeah.
And there were still people in books selling weed for a while during the
But I could also see black people just being like, I put my name on the list because I want to get weed, and then all of a sudden someone's at my door. Like, I could just totally see being like, this is an easy way to get niggas arrested and throw our asses in jail.
And they're saying, oh, you bought too much weed, and now you exceeded the quantity that we allow for whatever the fuck.
Do you remember the first time you bought in the store? I thought it was crazy. Because like the old stores used to be like, it felt like here, it felt like you were going to a trap anyways. There would be like somebody at the door, and then you had to like wait in the middle part and show your ID, and then they're like somebody, like the whole process of it felt.
It used to be a lot more like lock and key. You would get into a place, and then you would wait, and then you would get into another room, and then you had to like hold your breath while they devacuumed the space, and then you could go in. And it's like, oh, this is intense.
Whereas the weed man still coming to my house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or if I was bold, go to his house and have to listen to whatever the fuck he's talking about.
Absolutely.
Okay, before we go to break, and I feel like we have to be taking a break at this point, but before we go to break, X, tell me a little bit about how it sounds like you're a believer of this. This is something that you're sort of very much bought into for this conspiracy theory.
Yes, I am.
Is it one that you feel like you need to be like selling to the masses, or are you like, I believe it, but I'm gonna keep it in my back pocket because I don't want to sound crazy in these streets type energy?
I don't know. I think I'm betwixt two opinions, because for me, it's just like, I know someone who has died, right? So it was somebody who my cousin knew, and that's all that she did. So it was like, all you do is weed, how do you die from fentanyl? How does that, and so it was trying to be framed as if like, oh, we wasn't enough, so she went to fentanyl and then she did an overdose. So like, it's just stuff that's not clear. And there's many deaths that have happened within my family and in my community that have gone just under the radar. No detectives are on it. Nobody cares. There's clearly foul play with my cousin who was murdered. But because she was a prostitute, no one gave a fuck. So it's just so many things that I feel like unanswered questions that I have that leads me to believe like, okay, so what the fuck are y'all doing? How the hell is this happening? How is everybody who smokes weed all the time, how are they now passing out? Other issues are happening within their body and it's happening on a black market level. But these are people who need weed. They do have anxiety. They do probably have undiagnosed like mental challenges, and they may have lived a life of where they had to do something like steal because they didn't have shit. So they're scared to get an ID. They're scared to, inherently they don't trust the system or the government. So what are they supposed to do? They get weed from niggas on the block, So
yeah, hell yeah. Even as you're saying it, I feel more convinced than I was before we started. Corey, where do you fall in this?
I believe that this is possible just because I think there's a lot more variables in marijuana now, specifically via vapes, because I've seen people distill their own liquid just like in the house. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you could be really doing anything. My apartment in San Francisco, the apartment next door was making butane extracted hash oil and blew up the apartment. Like, so it's like I've seen the as much as like you could just put a label on the shit and put it out, and people, especially cartridges, that's the lick now because it's so much easier to send cartridges in the mail than it is to like actual, organic weed, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think it's possible just in that, like, you don't know what's going in that. You don't know you don't know how they're distilling it. You don't know how they're making it. Some people can do it in the house well, but it's drugs. People are lazy. People are looking to make more money, anything to stretch it further. So it seems very easy to mess with the supply lines to get people to buy this super expensive, not always great weed.
I was just about to say, I don't even smoke. I had fibroids and endometriosis, so I had terrible periods, so I used to take half of an edible. So I knew how much to take because I've never even been drunk. I love being sober. I don't like to smoke or drink. So I knew how much to take to like just get my cramps under in order. And so even then it was just like, wait, I'm having to eat like 10 milligrams now, like to do that. Like I have to like, what the fuck is going on? I don't even smoke like that. It's usually like, it feels like the first time to me because I only did it once a month for like the first 3 days of my cycle. So it would always feel like a new high, like the first time. But then it started feeling like I need more. I said, wait, now I know I ain't addicted. I ain't got, wait a minute. I know I ain't chasing no high. What the hell is going on? Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, what the hell? But yeah, it is not as great, but it's like packaged cute and it has aesthetics and it looks cute and it has these cute little names and all this shit. It's just like, no, I know niggas that just need good old fashioned flour. Like just give me some.
I've been buying weed for maybe too long. I started buying weed when there was like 4 kinds of weed. It was like you were going to get swag, you were going to get kind bud, you would maybe get something with the color, maybe if like it had flooded, you know what I mean? And that's what the Mexicans had. But
hey Dave, I'm Mexican.
I'm saying that I purchased from them. I appreciated it. Got me through some tough times. But
you know what? When Dave says it, he says like when white people talk about black people, he was like, "You're acting like a nigger." And I don't even like to say that word. You're acting like those black people. That's when Dave says it. It gives me that energy. But I was like, Langston, you are over here acting like those Negroes. You're acting like those people. And I don't even like to say that word. I'm
surprised he hasn't said that this episode because he talks like that quite a bit.
I mean, cut the tape, see what happens.
You want to tell people where they can find you? What cool shit you got going on?
Cool Guy Jokes 87 on Instagram. Birth of a Nation on all streaming platforms. Patreon.com/David Borey.
Hell yeah. Follow me at Langston Kerman on all social media platforms, and you can watch my special. It's called Bad Poetry. It's on Netflix. Watch English Teacher. It's on FX. And if you want to send us your own drops, your own conspiracy theories, send it all to mymommapod@gmail.com. You can also call us at 844-LIL Moms. We would love to hear from you, hear your sweet, sweet voices. Send it all. Call us, rate, review, subscribe, buy the merch. Bye, bitch. My Momma Told Me is a production of Will Ferrell's Big Money Players Network and iHeart Podcasts.
Created and hosted by Langston Kerman.
Co-hosted by David Bory.
Executive produced by Will Ferrell, Hansani, and Olivia Aguilar.
Co-produced by Bay Wang.
Edited and engineered by Justin Conner.
Music by Nick Chambers.
Artwork by Dogon Krieger.
You can now watch episodes of My Momma Told Me on YouTube. Follow at My Momma Told Me and subscribe to our channel.